Sorry about that.
Yeah. On me.
All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode, Tongue Tied, of Coffee Talk. I am your host, Shane. Tonight we are going live in the studio. And this is the second part of our recovery studies where we'll have Evangeline Simmons come on in a few. But first and foremost, let's clean house. Do some housekeeping. So those of you that are looking for a cleaning service in NYC and Florida, tri-state, whether it's Lakeland, Davenport, Tampa and Orlando, and you're looking for a cleaning service, we are available. We can be reached at 347-838-1411, 347-838-1411. We have special summer prices that are available, so you give us a call. You can email us if you are just inquiring about price quotes. We are accepting anyone out there that's looking for any type of cleaning service. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I got a little tongue tied. So we're going to bring on tonight's guest, and hopefully you guys can see me nice and clear. Just want to make sure that we are nice and clear. Okay, so I'm going to let her introduce. Well, first and foremost, let's get a little recap of last week. Those of you that were able to join us, where we started the recovery studies, is a four-part series that we have, Emerald Empire Production, where we're bringing forth knowledge and information about substance abuse, and we have a license. She is a counselor. She is certified. I'm trying to watch what I say because I don't want the people coming to get me, and I don't want to be in nobody's Facebook jail. But she is a counselor. She is certified. She has been in the field for quite some time. So when she brings her knowledge to you, it's not just off of word of mouth or speculations, but this is off of what she knows. Okay, so again, I'm going to open up the floor. This is Evangelist Jean Simmons. Some of y'all know her as Miss Jean. Some of y'all know her as GW. Some of y'all even know her as Jean Jones. Okay, so I'm gonna let her open up the floor. I'm gonna open up the floor and let her introduce herself and give you a little backdrop and history, and then we're gonna go right into tonight's topic.
God bless. God bless.
Had to catch myself.
Well,
sometimes we be getting ahead of ourselves. I said, wait a minute.
Jean Jones, I ain't heard that one ever since I was a little girl. Oh God. First, I want to give honor to God, thanking Him for waking me up this morning, thanking Him for giving me good health and strength, thanking Him for keeping me in my right, straight mind, traveling mercies to and from today, and just the ability to be able just to lay back and relax my mind. So I give all honor to Him. Yes, I am retired. Yes, once you retire, it doesn't even go anywhere. But I was a substance abuse counselor from way back when for over 20 plus years, 22 and a half years, I could say. Where I'm at now, I am a small business owner, Jean Hands of Healing LLC. I make handcrafted herbal tea blends and handcrafted food seasonings. I am at the local downtown farmers market every Saturday. This is what I do. And I'm at other locations as well. I'm not going to just sit here and give the whole resume because there's a lot. So I'm just keeping it simple. But yes, and I am an evangelist, thanks to my daughter, Minister Morris. I thank her for the elevation. I thank God for what He's doing in both of our lives as us being entrepreneurs, as us being women in Christ, women of God, women in Christ, all the above, because this is not our doing, this is His doing, and we know where our help come from and we know where our strength comes from. So this is recovery talk, and as my disclaimer,
studies.
Oh, I said
Recovery studies. We blew the bloopers, and everyone is all over the place with their tongue. But I'm gonna give you a little backdrop of this. I started this. I brought this forth with my charity first, and we started the session. And I wanted to bring it to the mainstream platform where we spoke about different topics that we deal with in the community, and I say in the community. Okay, so we also have women's studies, and that'll be coming in the fall. So I'm throwing that out there for you ladies that want to come on the platform and just want to freelance and speak respectfully. But recovery studies, we did start this, and now we're bringing it forth to you guys, so we get a little backdrop and get some history, get some help. And we put up my disclaimer. I am a chaplain for the state of NYC. I am a counselor as well, and so we're not here to give or prescribe any doctor's orders, but we can come on as counselors and advise as much as possible. You can email us at empire330@gmail.com. You can call any one of our work job business lines if you need any type of assistance, because this is what we do on a daily basis. Okay, so I gave the disclaimer. So go ahead. We're gonna
still have to give a disclaimer as far as my personal recovery walk. This is not a fellowship. We will not endorse any or finance the name of any self-help group, any aid groups. We will not be utilizing any of their material. This is all my personal perspective. However, I am a member of the fellowship. My language is what it is. So as a disclaimer, we're not looking or we're not endorsing any outside enterprises. I just need to say that.
So we did our disclaimer because y'all don't go for us. Okay. So, tonight's discussion. We're gonna go ahead and pick back up from last week. Last week we spoke about recovery, the definition of it, substance abuse, where does it stem from, how does it start. We did speak on these topics. So tonight we are going to continue with episode 2, part 2. So the first question that we have up here is, can you expound on peer pressure a little bit and how it affects the youth and how they become addicted due to peer pressure, or they become or use substance abuse as a form of coping mechanisms when they're dealing with peer pressure?
Again, peer pressure comes from in so many different forms. It comes through form of bullying. It comes through a form of low self-esteem. It comes from broken homes. It comes from and what I mean by broken homes, families split up, foster care system, child services, parents may be addicted to drugs, that open up the door to the children experiencing social acceptance. So that plays a major part. That plays some of the part, because there's so many variables when it comes down to substance abuse and addiction. Is so many variables that will lead the person down to the road of addiction. Because first to start off as something to give you a good feeling, it makes you feel happy. It takes away the pain, and you become accustomed to that feeling from that substance because of whatever your circumstances might be. What I've seen in my experience with the youth, again, the peer pressure from the school, want to be hip, cool, and slick. That plays a major part in it.
We don't use that lingo anymore, but I hear you.
I'm old school, but that plays a major part. And I'm gonna keep it on. That played a major part on me as well. Growing up, and I shared this in the last episode about, I went through some situations in my life as a young girl that I really didn't get the support that I should have gotten when I was going through my issues. Like, we have so many resources out here now for the youth. There was no resources, and then our parents was the type that, you just keep your feelings to yourself because you ain't got no opinion, basically.
Yeah.
So there's more resources out there now for the youth where they get group counseling, they get peer support, and but back when I was growing up, we didn't have that. So looking outside of yourself in this imaginary this imaginary world, thinking that don't like what you see in front of you and you want something different. You know, using substance would take you to a place that you forget all your troubles. Forget all your troubles. It makes you feel good. It takes you out. It takes you outside of your character. It takes you um, to a place where if you was isolated, now you're more opened up. You can speak more. When you were scared, it gave you courage. But again, there's a catch-22 to that, whereas your body becomes dependent on the substance. So now when you don't have the substance in your system, now you're feeling depressed, you're feeling those same feelings is coming back, whatever that ugliness might be for you, and then you want to get more. So it's like stairs, going upstairs, going upstairs, going upstairs, because there is no, if you don't have that outlet with the community to teach you the difference of, you don't have to do this if you learn how to do this, if you learn how, learning different types of coping skills. Okay, so bad crowds, wrong
Mhm.
people. That's
Now I'm
another
glad
thing.
you just brought this up because we're going to lead right into the next question. Next question is, how does social demographics or social economics affect substance abuse?
Again, growing up on the rough side of the mountain, I'm gonna say it like that. you know um I don't like using that word, but living in urban communities, because I'm not going to use that word, because I didn't live in the ghetto. I
Mm-hmm.
never lived in the ghetto. I lived in an urban community.
Mm-hmm.
That's the proper word for it. So growing up in urban communities, single parents, absent parents, um, money is tight, not being able to buy the stuff that you see your friends have, low self-esteem, it kicks back in again, and it comes from, and it begins and ends with the parents, not faulting the parents for what they have and what they don't have, because then you got the rich parents too that deals with the same
That's what I
situation.
said. When it comes to,
It's I'm gonna speak on the urban first, and then I'm gonna go to the first class. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yep.
Because the urban communities, looking at TV, that plays a major part. Tell lies to my vision. They give them all these imaginary thoughts or what life could really be. Glorifying drug selling. Like how much money you can make from selling drugs. What they see, they do what they see. So if they seen something different, they will be able to do something different. So if this is the demographics that I'm living in, and I see that's going all the way back to the 60s, where they had the pimps and the prostitutes, and you had the Mac and all of those movies that they used to say that was supposed to be the cool movies, what they call them black exploitation movies. That was another form of diluting the mind. It is okay. Um, they glorified it. They
They did.
glorified it.
They
They
did.
glorify it. So now, then, when you go to the upper class income, they just have how can I say, no sense of regret whatsoever. Because mommy is rich and mommy got money and she gives me the credit card so I can do what I want to do. My first drug movie that I ever seen was called Above Zero, if I'm not mistaken, and it was Robin. Matter of fact, Iron Man, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. played a crackhead in this movie. It's back in the 80s, way back in.
80s. Mm-hmm.
And this was about the California preppies,
Right.
college students, and how they got strung out on crack
Yeah.
because they had so much money. They didn't see it as a problem. They seen it as partying, socialization, socializing. And because they had so much money to feed it, they didn't see how they was becoming addicted to the substance. And at the end of that movie, it's called Above Zero, if I'm not mistaken. Robert Downey Jr. dies at the end. And there's a couple of other famous actors in that movie. Um, So that's just like an image right there that you know, when you have all, you know, I think about Whitney Houston. You know, I remember one of my clients, we was talking about one of my ex-clients, we was talking, she was like, Miss G, you know, you said that Whitney Houston will never see recovery. I said, yeah, because she's in denial because of her status, because of the status and the popularity that she had with society. She just felt she could just cover it up because she had that much money to do. And look what
I think
happened.
it was both sides of the coins. I think with the entertainment, and she was young when she branched out into the entertainment. And I think, you know, her aunt is Cicely Tyson, and she did grow up in the church. So she had, I believe
Not
she,
her
in my
sister
mind, my
Tyson.
opinion,
Dionne Warwick.
she
Dionne
had
Warwick is her aunt.
she had that, but then there was another lifestyle, especially when you start talking about this, where she dibble dabble. And it's so funny because all these movies come out now. She has a load of movies. Sometimes I'm like, okay, another storytelling of her life, but you see the backdrop of what she actually went through. You know, when it comes down to being addicted to it, whether it's drugs or whether it's alcohol, whether it's gambling,
Alcohol is a drug.
alcohol. You know what my first movie was, and I might be wrong. Coffee with Pam Pam Grier, and
When
I
you
was
seen
just like,
coffee,
what
when
she
you seen coffee, what you know about
and
coffee?
it came on, and I was just like, I just was never fascinated in that whole lifestyle. To me, I realized as an adult that the TV really, really lied to us because that really wasn't the way we were supposed to be living, and it was this you survival in the inner city, and you had the brother that was the notorious drug dealer, and he was
And the sister
upholding the
died.
family, and the
Yeah.
mother was dealing with depression. The father was going, and I'm just like this narrative spewed into what we see. And I always teach about generational curses or things that are brought on generations past, so you don't even understand why you're doing these things. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at how the seed was planted, and it was a narrative from being seen planted in a lot of people's head that this was a lifestyle or this was an outlet. And my right, almost, I ain't gonna tell my age, but I'm like, well, this really it messed up generations to come. So now I see in the community, like I spoke about last week, it's like 5-year-olds dealing with depression, and their outlet might be smoking somewhere. And I'm sitting here like, how do you even know? But you ever speak to 2-year-olds, they speak very clear. So by the time they're 10, 11, 12, 13, I'm just like, where did this come from? Now, both sides of the spectrum. Now, if I'm out on the other end of the world, or okay, I don't know what their problem is, but sometimes their issues is like, my dad worked too much. Okay, we had over. So where is the middle bounds when it comes to addiction? What causes you to say, okay, we deal with depression, but we deal with life on life term. So what will make you do that? You have on one side, you're economically stable, and then you have on the other side, you're not economically stable, but the common ground, the common denominator in this country is a big epidemic of drug use. So then we have counselors that go out, social workers, and sometimes the social workers be messed up too. And so it's just like I'm asking, when will it end, or when will it break? What would it look like? You have people that go out in the highways and teach about these things, highways and byways, and they're preaching about don't do drugs and it'll ruin your life. But I don't know if people really understand what it does to the generations.
Well, at the end of the day, excuse me, I should put my phone on mute. Excuse me. At the end of the day, um, at the end of the day, you can't. Everybody's story is different, right? Everybody tolerance is different. Everybody um downfall and elevation is different, basically, right? So there would never be a full explanation or a solution to what will be the solution to it. Because I was just, even though I live down here in Florida, was just reading that Long Island then opened up what is it called? A marijuana store. Illegal. I think they said it was illegal marijuana where they got over 1,000 of different
Dispensaries.
different forms of marijuana. It's not medical. It's not medical. So I guess it's illegal. Don't get me.
Well, now it's legal. That
No,
whole
but they're able to sell it because there's a difference between the medical dispensary and then selling it, just selling it. So you don't have to have a prescription card to go to the store in Long Island. You could just go there and just buy your marijuana because now New York is has made it legal to smoke it. So there's things like that. The average alcoholic stayed in denial about alcoholism because it's legal. Because it's legal. So to try to get a common denominator on what is the individual, what pulled me out. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of me. That's what pulled me out. You understand? So it's up to the individual to see the damages that is causing in their life to make them make that change. But again, we got society that's changing that wants everybody to stay in this oppressed situation. You know what I'm saying? And so, even with the medical marijuana, you still got people's going in there saying, "Oh, I got back pain. I got back pain." So the doctor write them out and they go whatever and do what they need to do and go get this card. And so now they can go get marijuana off of their insurance. I don't know if they pay for it I really don't know, to be honest, how that process works. But I just do know that just like with the Oxycontin and all of the opioids that the doctor writes the prescriptions for, they don't understand the consequences and the damage that they're causing to the individual. I had a situation that took place when I was in Staten Island when I got sick and I was at the hospital, and they put opioids in me but nobody really assessed me thoroughly to make that conclusion to give me an opiate. Okay. So I went bonkers. Okay, I went bonkers, because I didn't give y'all permission. Just assess me, find out what this pain is, let's identify it, and let's talk about what can be the cause of events that I need to take to get past this. They just shot me up. They didn't just shoot me up one time. They shot me up. Y'all remember that? I was out of my mind in that hospital. That's part of my testimony, because you don't know somebody's story just to go put an IV in them and then shoot them up. You see what I'm saying? So it's up to the individual, you know what I'm saying, to be able to, again, that statement, have the wisdom to know the difference and speak up for themselves and then seek the help, like I will continue keep saying, because the resources are out here more than they were when I was coming in. When I was first going through my process in my early recovery, there wasn't no rehabs. You had to wait months. You had to wait weeks to get into a program because they were so far. And then back then, it was like being in a prison when you would go to programs for your drug abuse, what we call old treatment, therapeutic communities where they shave your head off. It's like you're in boot camp and all this old crazy mess. So it was like dehumanizing the individual, and the logic was to break them down to build them back up. So a lot of programs got sued. A lot of people got smart, got them some lawyers, and so they started changing the guidelines on what a program model is supposed to look like and what's the fair treatment for the individual that's coming in for substance abuse. Okay, so but at the end of the day, it's the individual. Like I said, the resources is out here. It's more than so. You can go to some local churches should have the information. You should have a help outreach in inside our community when it comes down to different churches. They should have an outreach that specifically can help an individual and have resources for an individual that's seeking help with their substance use. You know, we touched on it a little bit on the last week, and not to say I support the church 100%. I know that's just the building, but I know what my father and I know what his son has done for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but when you first coming in and you at that point of desperation, you can lay hands on me all you want to. No choice. I can have the whole congregation lay hands on me, and I get up and walk right out of there and go get me a stem, or go get me a follow, or go get me a beer, go get me a hit, because that's not being fed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not being fed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the churches in the community need to open up their doors a little bit more and open up their minds a little bit more when it comes down to the individual that's seeking help in this area, because it's very serious. And then the person is saying, well, the church don't work for me because why am I still getting high? And then they telling them, well, read your Bible. Well, if I don't know how to read a Bible and I ain't got no connection with God and I don't know exactly what is it, so I'm reading it and the words is like blah, 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 blah. So this is not working. God is not hearing me. I don't understand. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go back and do what I do best.
It
So
feels
we have to, if you don't, if you haven't walked in that process, you have to have a little bit more compassion for that introversion. Don't get me wrong, because the manipulation is very high. So
high.
you do have to have your armor of God on. You do have to have your walls up. So you know you do want to keep them from a distance, because you don't know if it's sincere or is it just a
Been playing
con.
right now.
They want to get something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
However, through keen discernment, you should be able to know which individual was seeking help and which individual was just there just to play a game. Now, when like I said, I'm not going to, I'm not endorsing, but a lot of my fellowship groups are in churches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, that's where basically everybody meet at. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they meet up at a church or at a community center.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not saying every church have to open up their doors to have a fellowship group inside of there, but a lot of them in there. But that's two different entities. That's just what they do on in the groups, and the church has a whole different. It's two. It's not together. It's two separate entities. But the point that I'm making, the church needs to try to get involved a little bit more so they can understand.
Mm.
What it
Now,
is.
can you tell the viewers, are there anyone in internet land, is there a difference between um, addiction, being addicted to substance, and abusing substance? Can
Same
addiction
thing.
lead to abuse or
It's the substance is the drugs.
right?
The substance is the drug.
Mm-hmm.
So you are addicted to the substance. Let's get the language together. The substance is every drug: alcohol, cocaine, methadone, not methadone, not sorry, heroin. I meant to say I'm talking about the treatment versus the drug. Heroin. That's the substance. The addiction is when your body becomes not immune, becomes addicted to it. Your body becomes wants it, it craves it. Your body, that's what the addiction part kicks in. So this is two different things. The substance abuse is the drugs, it's substances,
Mm-hmm.
it's substance.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that mind, mood altering chemical or substances might be. See, I'm using old language. However, they don't even use the language that I'm speaking right now because I've been out the field. I'm not working, and oh Lord, I just lost what they called it. They called it the disorders. They call them disorders now. They're
Yeah,
disorders.
they have more to die the M
They just they don't
more.
use chemical. They don't use chemical dependence anymore. They don't use substance abuse anymore. They don't use drug use anymore. It's a disorder.
Mm-hmm.
As per the DSM-5, it's a disorder. So that's what the chemicals are, the substance. That's the chemical. The
Mm-hmm.
addictions is when your body becomes addicted to your body becomes used to this,
Community.
and you want more and more and more because of the feeling of that substance.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Okay.
addiction is not just with substance. You got people that gambling, you got addictions with gambling, you got shopping, sex, all of that. All of those are different. There's different types of addictions. It's not just substances. There's a lot of different.
It's that I was just using that as an outlet, so we don't want to call anyone out. But you got gambling, and you got fetish addiction, and you have all types of things that's considered sweets addiction, and you know, there's all type of addiction out there. So we just want the one we're talking about tonight is of different
Substance.
drugs. So we don't want to X out or point out anything to anyone. But this is what we're discussing about tonight.
It's substance. We're talking
Substance.
about the substance. The
Yeah.
substance.
I don't want y'all
Whichever
to-
that title might be for the individual that have got themselves trapped and caught up in addiction from that substance. Again, what will lead to that is so many, like I said, and I'm gonna keep saying it, I'm gonna keep emphasizing that. It's so many variables. There's so many variables that will lead up to that. Again, your tolerance become high. You want more and more and more and more because the more it comes into your body, the more your body wants the effect of it. That's why they have detoxes. It's like, certain drugs, certain substances, you have to go to the hospital in order to detox from because your body it has become physically dependent to it. And
Mhm.
your body will go through changes if it's not getting the same amount. And then that's where the overdoses kick in as well. Where people's will be abstinence for a while and what we call this a relapse. It happens, but it's not a requirement. The person will relapse, and when they pick up, they die because they try to fill that same void that they was removed for, and the body can't take it. Body can't take it, or same thing with the overdose. They put more additives in there, which is the fentanyl. From what I understand, I heard stories about crack having fentanyl in it now. You know, um, they doing that for to get a higher effect of it.
Mhm.
But the damages that is doing to the body, because your body become dependent on it now. So now you can't shake that off like you used to shake it off before. Now you craving more and more and more and more just to function. Just like the alcoholic would have to drink in order to function. Your body becomes dependent on it. It
Very
becomes
dependent. Yeah.
takes a physical effect on it.
Now, what are the signs family members can spot if they suspect, have a hint, or knowing? I'm gonna say for the children first, because adults you just know they fly out outside with theirs. But I'm saying for children and the teenagers.
Every child is different. I hid mine for a long time.
Hmm. Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So there are signs, tiredness, irritability, loss of appetite, increase of appetite, um, isolation, not wanting to communicate, isolation. Um, those are like five major signs that you can look for. That's like right there. But the rest of them, listen, we're good masterminds and we know how to cover up and hide stuff for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So it's not gonna be the old back then the red eyes. So we used to use Visine
It's not the same.
to try to hide it from my mother, and she said I can see past the Visine. Wow, you know what I'm saying? So there's I can't say because I'm not in the field because each generation come up with new tricks. Basically, each generation come up with new tricks. So I can't. Those are the major ones that I can say as a parent what to look for with your child. You know, another thing, excessive money. Having excessive money because now they probably out there selling the drugs for their habit. So now they got more money. It's just different again, that word variables is that will manifest itself, and then it's the ones that come out that I don't even know about that still will shock you.
Mm. 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 So if someone is looking, we always speak about it, and I'm gonna throw my little disclaimer out there because now we Florida, Georgia, now we in NYC. Hello, okay, so we are expanding. So new nonprofit, Emerald's Hands. We do counseling.
Not that
We
for me,
say-
y'all. Y'all see this, right? Y'all see this. I'm just letting you know.
We
I'm
expanded.
looking
Okay,
hands.
so we
My
thank
hands
God
been out.
for that. Okay, so we are expanding. Look out for wonderful things coming up in the fall. So we have prayer on deck. We have counselors. I think we even though it's 2 or 3 of us on deck, we are assisting and helping. Where can someone reach you? And the website will be coming out if you want to go ahead and send your questionnaires to us. Put your information in the I'll have Samantha put the information in the chat where if you're seeking any type of guidance and you're sincere, even if you're not sincere, but you're looking for help or assistance, we can do that in the Florida area. What is it? North Florida. That's considered North Florida. In New York, we can reach out to some counselors and some places that you can go sit and talk to someone. You don't have to walk the streets and how they say it, be sick and suffering is sick and not know which way, because life be life, and life is just it's just a lot going on. I had a rough day today, so despite me looking like I'm at the top, I'm a lot on my plate right now, but it's thank God for the platform because this is an outlet. If you missed the live, you can always see this pinned to my page. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube Emerald Empire Productions, where you can catch the live and you can rewatch. And if you want to put your comments down and below, you can do so. So we do our servitude, this organization, as much as we can. We can't reach worldwide, but we could do what we could do on our hands. So if you're young or old, if you are seeking and you're sincere, you really, because it starts with you, isn't that correct? I was taught that it starts with you. You have to want to.
It ends with you. It begins and ends with you.
You have to not want to taste. You have to want to not want to have the taste or the sensation in your mouth. This is words that she said, so all I'm doing is repeating what was spewed out to me my entire life. Okay, so all I'm doing is repeating it. It sounds good on the internet, so we're just going to go ahead and put that slogan out there so you can reach us at Emerald Empire 330@gmail.com. This is a 4-part episode. Next week we will go ahead on live, and we're going to go ahead and answer whatever questions that we had prior. If you have questions right now in the chat, go ahead and post the questions. If you have questions later on, we will do our best to go ahead and get back to you. Our business numbers are 347-838-1411. Now, with tonight's discussion on Coffee Talk, we talk about recovery studies. We gave you the backdrop of it. We gave you the economic standpoint of it, as much as we could do on this platform. Okay, if you want us to expound more, it has to be on either Instagram, my TikTok, or my YouTube if you want to expound more. If you, the viewers, have literature that you want to share, information that you want to share, please go ahead. You can contact Gene Winston. Some of y'all in the Florida area, I don't know how y'all are as far as networking and connecting, and us at NYC. NYC is very big, so it's always a brochure or some information that always given. Okay, so tonight again, the recap of it, recovery studies, and we talked about how in the inner cities, how it was actually it was planted. It was by design, and
there's so many conspiracy theories going all the way back till I don't even know. About, especially when you talk about the urban communities on, the conspiracy theory. They put it there like they put the crack during the 80s era. They were saying that the government put the crack in there because they're trying to kill us down. Gentrification. Then I said it wrong. I might have said it wrong. Gentrification, basically trying to kill off the nationality. Those are just conspiracy theories. We don't have facts. Everybody has their own story to tell. However, it's up to the individual. When you think about we didn't even talk about incarceration. That's another whole nother discussion about the substance use and abuse in inside the prison system. Is again is the individual, because if just like like I have a slogan, they say chase your recovery like you chase your drugs.
Yeah.
So for me, I chase my recovery like I wanted, like I chase my drugs, and because that's how bad I wanted to
Stay away.
stay, progress and be productive, because once that substance is out your system, you got the depression, you have the isolation, the motivation is gone. You're just at a lost state. And again, that's why I'm talking about the community has to have the resources for these individuals to
Yeah.
meet these needs and these demands
Yeah.
to not. So again, we're not responsible for the outcome, but we are responsible for the effort. But to sit back and just look at it and just turn your nose up against it and just say, well, oh, it ain't me, it ain't my family, so just turn your head away from it. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Get with people. We can be the pillars of the community. And when I was in New York, me and my husband, we did a lot of community service up in New York,
Mm-hmm.
from all boroughs in New York. We was, that's not boasting. It's just so happened to be part of my story. It's part
Yeah.
of my recovery process that I'm very proud of. That
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get with the individuals, and I was accepted with the individuals, and because they understood my language and they understood what I was going through. So I do have that empathy for the other person. But again, I have my guards up too, because I
Mm-hmm.
understand the master manipulation process of an individual. They say, today I want to stop. But that's just because of what the circumstances is for today. And then tomorrow we'll go back to the same thing, you
Yep.
know. Um, so again, it goes back to that individual, is how bad do you really want it? What has happened in your life that you can see and identify that has not been beneficial, not beneficial, where your life is going down the drain. Because at the end of it, and again, like I said, like you said, it my famous state, at the end of the day, it begins and ends with you. Just like you made that decision for the destruction, you can make that same decision to do positive in your life. Is it an easy walk? No, it's not.
Absolutely.
No, it's not. And I'm not going to use that word willpower. That's crap. No, no,
Absolutely.
no. It's never
Absolutely.
about willpower. It's about your will. You
Mm-hmm.
They used to say that back in the days. Oh, I got willpower. No, you don't. You ain't really got no willpower, because I don't have no power. My power comes from something greater than me.
Yep.
That's where I seek my power from. So for the sake that I have the power to do anything, I can't do anything without the assistance of my creator. So that's where you got to seek the help from first. You got to ask, and you got to be sincere about it, because there's countless people in recovery. There's millions of people. You'll be surprised who's in recovery. Matter of fact, the other day, me and my husband was somewhere. I think we was in the store, and no, we was taking care of business, and the guy and my husband identified each other through talk, through the language, and he was like, "What do you know about that? Then what do you know about that?" You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Because there's a language, there's a lifestyle that we live. We present ourselves in a certain way. We speak a certain language because we was taught to throw away that old stuff and learn new behaviors, and so we can start living a new lifestyle. So it's millions. I'm not saying thousands. I remember when I went to my first convention, there was peoples from different countries, and I didn't even know
Yeah.
that it was like that. And I'm talking back
Mm-hmm.
1990. I'm talking about my first convention back in 1990. And I met peoples from Europe, Paris, France, that was at this convention that was in recovery. So we're not a small group. We're not a small group of people. We just don't make ourselves be seen that much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Less it needs to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Not hiding from nobody, because where I came from has got me to where I'm at today. So I can share my story. I can't share nobody else's story. I can speak on me. I keep it on and as soon as I start becoming ashamed, and if anybody got a problem about who Gene is, well, because you're not Gene.
Mm-hmm.
Those was the things that kept me sick and suffering back in the days, because I worried about how people see me and what people thought about me. So I'm living a positive lifestyle. It doesn't matter what you live. If you live a good lifestyle, you live a bad lifestyle, people always gonna talk.
That's
So
it.
you got to be comfortable in your skin. And see, this is the thing that will chase people's back to the drugs, because of not being accepted, or not having the ability to let it roll off of your back,
Mm-hmm.
to stand tall. Because the things that I've been through in these last 32 years, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
I thank God for saving me. Lord, 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 I can honestly tell you, I've been in some fetal position situations where I just wanted to just get in the bed and put the cover over my head and just like, don't come back out no more. And I faced it one moment at a time to get me to where I'm at. So yeah, it's something that I fight for every day. I fight for my recovery every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm not saying that because, oh, does she saying, does she have urges? No, because I know what goes on in between my ears.
Mm-hmm.
I know how the negative committee can speak to me, and I can revert back to that person quickly. But I ask and I thank God that He has saved me to the point where I don't have to revert back to that. Even if it just means don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So, a lot of these things that I just shared right now with individual that don't have the ability to just learn how to be comfortable with themselves, those are the main ones that go out there to use the substances to cope
Yes.
with just daily lifestyles. Just be able to get out the bed, maybe not even go out the door, just to get out the bed. They got to have something to give them
Mm-hmm.
the ability to go.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, the resources is very important. So I
Mm-hmm.
am shouting out to anybody that want to reach out to me to give me more information, and I will have to go behind the back scenes to know what we can speak and what we cannot speak, because I don't want to get locked up neither. I don't want to get kicked off. I've been so good. I've heard so many people's going to Facebook jail, and I'm trying to figure out like what will make that happen. So
True sometimes.
I've always been private. I've always been respectful. I use my platform for my personal entertainment, and it's not about nobody else. I remember one time my coworker told me, she said, "You got the most corniest Facebook page." I said, "Okay, okay, because okay, like I'm not blasting family. I'm not doing no controversies, and and even now, as things have been changing in social media, it makes me more introverted anyway, to be honest with you.
There's a lot
Um,
going on.
there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm comfortable in my own skin. I don't need to have to do anything extraordinary to get no likes or no thumbs up or whatever how you want to call it. Um, but those are things like that. Um, People have to really pay attention to, especially when you're suffering from so low self-esteem.
Yeah.
You're suffering with abandonment issues. You're looking to try to find yourself. Um, you know, those are the reasons that people will go out there and use substances.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn how to be comfortable in your own skin without nothing. I used to say Pepsi's and nicotine back in the day. It ain't Pepsi's and nicotine. It's caffeine now, and I like seltzer water since I've been down here in
I am
Florida.
not a salsa water. I tried. I was gonna buy some.
I've been experimenting with a lot of different seltzer waters, because I have to stay away from the sugar. And also, people with medical issues. That's another thing. Being that I was just getting ready to say about my medical issue. That's another thing, trying to bear with the pain.
Yeah.
I'm talking about real legit physical pain where their tolerance, they become more dependent on the medication for the pain versus to cope with the pain. That's
I'm
why
so sorry, y'all.
was created, because when I had chronic pain, when I was experiencing my chronic pain, I didn't want to use the substances. Like I said, I went through a situation a few years back when in New York, and they gave me opiates. So that's why I created Gene Hands of Healing, because I started looking for natural healing for myself. Because I don't know what my triggers are.
Right.
I need to say that I don't know what my triggers are. I don't know if I choose to live that lifestyle again, am I going to make it to another recovery? So I just put it to you like this: I stay where I'm at, so I protect my recovery at all costs. So that means that I'll have to bear a little bit more pain, so that I can have a peace of mind that I don't have nothing, no mind mood or altering that or might trigger me, because I do have an addictive lifestyle, because I have acquired that because of the lifestyle that I used to live. So I have to be careful with a lot of things. So that's how Jean Hands of Healing was created, because she did not want to use any type of controlled substance, because I do have chronic pain. So that's another factor that we just came up, like I just said, that would cause a person to become addicted to substances, chronic pain.
So we're gonna pause right now because we're almost an hour in, and we're gonna put down in the chat all of the ways that you can communicate with us. We try to stay within an hour. Uh, we try to stay within the hour.
We
So
got 8 minutes.
we got 8 minutes. We're gonna cut off do anyone in the chat that's in the chat right now. And then Samantha, if you see anyone in the chat that would like to ask any type of question, you can do so. Shout out to Minister Perkins. I think he's still on. Thank you for logging on tonight.
Yeah, I see his comment. He said, "I'm talking right."
Yeah.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
He
I'm
is
speaking from the heart.
he's a politician, and when I was the president of one of the junior high schools, he is the family counselor. So dealt with these things hand in hand. He's a pillar in our community on Staten Island. So I gave you a great big shout out because he does do the work. He do the work every day. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there anyone in the chat that have any questions that they would like to ask us, and all that information? This was a good topic. Was tonight the first episode you was a little stiff. Today I think you like being in the camera too much. I don't know what quite is going on, but
You don't know. You know what? I know how to put a mask on. I know how to put a mask on. It took a lot for me to get up to do this, because I've been out. I try to, you know me. I like to be a chameleon. I like to be a ghost. I don't really like to be on the front line. I like to be in the back line. But I've noticed since I've had my business, is putting me back up in the front line. No, because I was under other entities. Let me rephrase that. I'm getting ready. Wait a minute. Because I was under so many different entities, I always stayed in the back, because I realized that I was not in charge. Now that I have my own business, is pushing me up to the front line. So sometimes the people in the negative community be talking to me, like, oh, you don't know, like they say in Carrie, they all gonna laugh at you, like she's a mother told her in the movie Carrie, the original one with Sissy Spacek, the original one. They're all gonna laugh at you. So sometimes the community be telling me that you don't know what you're talking about, or you're not gonna be received. They're not gonna be receptive, but the devil is a lie.
Yes, sir. Any questions? Any questions, man? No. Okay, so y'all have our contact. We thank you for tuning in tonight. Y'all going to join episode part 3 on next week, Wednesday. We will be live. And just in case you just missed the live and you just want to go ahead and see our wonderful faces one more time and see the commentary on one more time, you can go on my YouTube channel, Emerald Empire Productions. You could rewatch all of my tapings. So that's this far. Okay, some still that I have not posted, but it's okay. It will be pinned on my page, so you can go ahead and replay it. We thank you for the support. I thank you for the shout outs. I thank you for the messages that come through. I humbly thank you. We are growing. Again, we're here from NYC to Florida, and y'all might see us international. I keep saying it on the Roku channel with the other sisters that we might be international. You never. I might be in Canada. I don't know, depending on how I feel. Might be in Ghana. I don't know. People reaching out. My team might come along with us. There ain't much of us, but we're a team, and we'll see. So I am going.
You only need 2.
You only need 2. We're supposed to go 2 by 2. 2 by 2. 2 by 2. Okay. And so thank you for tuning in tomorrow night. I want y'all to log on live. We will be bringing back Miss Alicia Washington, and tomorrow's discussion, part 2 of cheating. You guys hit me up with that. I want more commentary from me with that. I told you that was a section in entertainment I have not touched on, expound on, but we're coming live tomorrow, part 2 at 7:00. Same channel will air on Facebook as well as I'm sorry, I don't use Instagram, but as well as YouTube. Okay, so love y'all.
Have a blessed evening, all.
Yes.
Love you first.
That's it.